Once upon a time, on a hot summer day, a thirsty crow flew across the fields searching for water. He could not find any, and he felt very weak, almost giving up hope. Suddenly, he spotted a pitcher below a tree. Happily, the crow flew down to the pitcher and looked inside. There was some water at the bottom, but it was too low for his beak to reach. He tried to push the pitcher over, but it was too heavy. He thought hard about what to do. Then the crow had a clever idea. He noticed some small pebbles on the ground nearby. He picked up a pebble in his beak and dropped it into the pitcher. He dropped another pebble and then another. Slowly, the water level began to rise. The crow continued picking up and dropping pebbles into the pitcher until the water was high enough for him to drink. He drank the water gratefully, feeling refreshed and happy. With his thirst quenched, the crow flew away with a clever solution. From that day on, he knew that with a little patience and ingenuity, even the hardest problems could be solved. And that's how the thirsty crow used his wits to quench his thirst. The moral of the thirsty crow story is, where there is a will, there is a way.
The Lion and the Mouse. Once, a lion caught a tiny mouse. The mouse begged for its life, promising to help the lion someday. Amused, the lion let it go. Later, hunters trapped the lion in a net. Hearing his roars, the mouse ran to help. It nibbled the ropes, freeing the lion. The lion was grateful and realized even small creatures can be great friends. So kids, I hope you like the story. If you like the story, please like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you.
The Lost Lamb. Lily the lamb loved to explore. One sunny afternoon, she wandered far from the flock, chasing butterflies and smelling flowers. When she looked up, she realized she was lost. The meadow around her seemed unfamiliar, and the sky was starting to darken. Lily felt scared and began to cry. Hearing her cries, a wise old owl named Oliver flew down. "Don't worry, little one," said Oliver. "I can see everything from above. Follow me, and I'll guide you home." Lily followed Oliver's instructions carefully. He led her through the meadow, around a big oak tree, and past the sparkling stream. Soon, Lily heard the familiar bleats of her flock. She ran to them, overjoyed to be home. Her mother nuzzled her gently. "Thank you, Oliver," she said. The wise owl hooted happily and flew back to his tree. Moral of the story: always be mindful of where you are, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you're lost. The brave little squirrel. In a big forest, a tiny squirrel named Sam lived happily. One day, a fierce storm hit the forest. The wind blew hard, and the rain poured down, causing the river to swell. Sam noticed that his friend, the rabbit, was stuck on the other side of the river, unable to cross. Sam, though small, was very brave. He quickly gathered some sturdy twigs and leaves. With great effort, he built a little raft. Sam paddled across the raging river, using all his strength. When he reached the other side, he helped the rabbit onto the raft and carefully brought him back. The rabbit was very grateful and hugged Sam tightly. The other animals in the forest heard about Sam's bravery and gathered to celebrate. They realized that even the smallest among them could do great things. Moral of the story: bravery and kindness can come in small packages. The generous tree. In a small village, there was a tree known for its kindness. This tree bore the juiciest fruits and provided shade for travelers. One day, a poor boy named Tom approached the tree, looking hungry and tired. "Hello, tree," said Tom. "I'm very hungry. Do you have any fruit for me?" The tree shook its branches, and ripe fruits fell to the ground. Tom ate to his heart's content and thanked the tree. Every day, Tom visited the tree, and it always provided for him. Years passed, and Tom grew up. He became a successful man, but never forgot the tree's kindness. One day, he returned with his children and told them how the tree had helped him. The tree, now old, was still standing tall. Tom and his children took good care of it, ensuring it received plenty of water and love. The tree continued to give, not just fruits but also a lesson in generosity. Moral of the story: kindness and generosity always come back to you in unexpected ways. The helpful ant. In a sunny meadow, a hard-working ant named Andy lived with his colony. One day, while gathering food, Andy saw a pigeon struggling in a puddle. The pigeon's feathers were soaked, making it difficult for her to fly. Andy, though small, wanted to help. He called his fellow ants, and together they formed a long line, bringing small leaves and twigs. The ants created a raft, and Andy guided it to the pigeon. The pigeon climbed on the raft and, with the help of the ants, was pulled to dry land. Grateful, the pigeon thanked Andy and his friends. She promised to always watch over the ant colony from above. From that day on, the pigeon and the ants shared a special friendship. Moral of the story: teamwork and kindness can solve even the toughest problems. The Wise Old Turtle. Once in a pond, there lived a wise old turtle named Toby. One day, the pond's water began to dry up, and the fish, frogs, and other creatures were worried. Toby called a meeting. "We need to find a new home," he said, "but we must stay together." The animals trusted Toby and followed him. They traveled through forests, over hills, and across streams. Whenever they faced danger, Toby used his wisdom to find safe paths. When they were tired, he found places for them to rest. After a long journey, they found a beautiful, large pond full of fresh water and plenty of food. The animals cheered and thanked Toby for his guidance. They realized that with wisdom and unity, they could overcome any challenge. Moral of the story: wisdom and unity can lead you to better places.
The Tortoise and the Hare. A hare mocked a slow tortoise, challenging it to a race. Confident, the hare took a nap mid a race. The tortoise, steady and determined, kept moving. When the hare awoke, it was too late. The tortoise had won. Slow and steady wins the race. Thank you.
The Magic Paintbrush. In a small village, there was a poor boy named Liang who loved to paint. One day, an old man gave him a magic paintbrush. "Use this brush wisely," the man said. Prompt, Liang discovered that whatever he painted with the brush came to life. He painted food for the hungry, clothes for the poor, and toys for the children. The villagers were happy and grateful. A greedy merchant heard about the magic brush and tried to steal it. Liang outsmarted him by painting a large rock to block the merchant's path and a river to carry him away. Liang continued to use the brush to help others, and the village flourished. He remembered the old man's words and used the brush wisely, bringing joy and prosperity to everyone. Moral of the story: use your talents for good, and you will make the world a better place. Thank you.
The Honest Woodcutter. Once upon a time, a poor woodcutter was cutting wood in a forest. Suddenly, his axe fell into the river. He sat down sadly because he did not have another axe. Just then, a fairy appeared from the river and asked him, "Why are you crying?" The woodcutter replied, "My axe has fallen into the river." The fairy took out a golden axe from the water and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter said, "No, this is not mine." Then the fairy showed him a silver axe and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter again said, "No, this is not mine either." Finally, the fairy took out the woodcutter's iron axe. The woodcutter happily said, "Yes, this is my axe." The fairy, pleased with his honesty, rewarded him with all 3 axes. Moral: honesty is always rewarded.
The Greedy Dog. Once, a dog found a piece of bread. Carrying it in his mouth, he was crossing a bridge over a river. Seeing his reflection in the water, he thought there was another dog standing there with bread. Driven by greed, he wanted to snatch the bread from that dog too. He barked loudly, dropping his own bread. As soon as he opened his mouth, his bread fell into the water and sank. Now he had nothing left. Moral: greed is a curse. Thank you.
The Little Seed's Journey. Once, a little seed lay in the soil, dreaming of becoming a big tree. One day, it felt a tickle as the rain fell. The seed began to sprout. With each sunny day and every drop of rain, the little sprout grew taller and stronger. The seedling faced challenges like strong winds and hungry birds, but it persevered. It pushed its roots deeper and stretched its leaves toward the sun. Slowly but surely, the little seed grew into a mighty tree. The tree provided shade for travelers, homes for birds, and fruits for the villagers. It remembered its humble beginnings and stood tall, proud of its journey. Moral of the story: with patience and perseverance, you can grow and achieve great things. Thank you.
The Brave Little Squirrel. One day, a little squirrel named Nutty noticed that the forest animals were sad because a mean hawk had been stealing their food. Nutty, though small, decided to outsmart the hawk. He gathered his friends, and they built a hidden food storage underground. When the hawk came, there was nothing left to steal. The animals were happy again, and Nutty became the hero of the forest. Lesson: courage and cleverness can solve even the biggest problems. Thank you. The Kind Elephant. Ella the elephant was the strongest in her jungle, but she was also the kindest. One day, a terrible drought dried up the water hole, and all the animals were thirsty. Ella used her big trunk to dig deep into the ground, finding water for everyone. The animals were grateful, and they all shared the water peacefully. Lesson: helping others makes you even stronger. Thank you. The Lost Kitten. A little kitten named Whiskers wandered too far from home one day and got lost. Feeling scared, he started meowing for help. A friendly dog named Max heard him and guided him back to his family. Grateful for Max's help, Whiskers and Max became the best of friends. Lesson: friends can be found when you need them the most. Thank you. Benny the Brave Bee. In a sunny meadow filled with colorful flowers lived a little bee named Benny. Unlike other bees, Benny was a bit afraid of flying too far from his hive. One day, he saw a beautiful red flower all the way at the edge of the meadow. His friend Bella buzzed over and encouraged him. "Come on, Benny, let's go see it together." With Bella by his side, Benny gathered his courage and flew farther than he ever had. When he reached the red flower, he felt proud of himself. He learned that bravery doesn't mean having no fears. It means trying, even when you're scared. Lesson: sometimes trying new things can lead to beautiful discoveries. Timmy and the Talking Shoes. One morning, little Timmy found a pair of shoes in his cupboard that whispered, "Let's go on an adventure." As he wore them, he was zoomed off to a candy mountain, flew over jelly lakes, and met flying pandas. But when the shoes stopped working, Timmy had to use his courage and clever thinking to find his way home. And he did, because magic was inside him all along. Morale: believe in yourself, and you'll go far. Thank you. Turk related on Tara the turtle's big race. Tara the turtle was slow, and the other forest animals teased her. One day, she joined a race with Dash the deer. Everyone laughed, but Tara didn't give up. She walked carefully, helped a stuck squirrel on the way, and reached the finish line, just in time to win. Why? Because kindness and patience always lead to success. Moral: slow and steady wins the race. Thank you. Pico the little parrot who couldn't fly. In a jungle full of colorful birds, there lived a small parrot named Pico. But unlike other parrots, Pico couldn't fly. He flapped and flapped, but always landed with a thud. Everyone around him soared in the sky, but Pico sat on the lowest branch, watching with sad eyes. Other birds often laughed. Why don't you just walk everywhere, Pico? Teased the toucan. Maybe you're just a jungle chicken, squawked a parakeet. Pico drooped his little wings, but deep down he whispered, Someday, I'll fly. Every morning, while the jungle still slept, Pico would practice. He flapped harder, he jumped higher. He tried from rocks, logs, and even trees, but nothing worked. Still, Pico never gave up. One night, dark clouds covered the sky. Wind howled. Trees shook. A baby bird was stuck on a thin branch crying. All the other birds were too scared to help. But Pico, yes, tiny Pico, climbed up carefully. The branch snapped. Pico and the baby bird began to fall. Pico spread his wings wide and flapped with all his might. He flapped like he had never flapped before. Suddenly, something magical happened. Pico was flying, really flying. He soared, swooped, and glided, holding the baby bird gently. He landed safely, and the jungle animals gasped in joy. The other birds flew down and hugged Pico. You really did it, cried the parakeet. You're the bravest of us all, said the toucan. Pico smiled, wings wide open. I just needed a reason to fly. From that day on, Pico flew higher than any bird. Not because he had the strongest wings, but because he had the strongest heart. Thank you,